screw EVs when you can still get cars like this. Not everybody wants an electric vehicle for the environment. Some people actually enjoy the driving experience of an electric vehicle, if you can believe it or not. But the internal combustion engine market isn't done yet. There's many manufacturers that said they're pumping the brakes on the output of manufacturing electric vehicles. Let's talk about some amazing internal combustion vehicles you can still get. Let's get into it now. Life's too short to drive boring cars. With brands like Porsche right here already going into hybrid drivetrains, and even the Porsche Macan now is advertised as coming out with electric vehicle version. So even Porsche is getting on the bandwagon of making and manufacturing electric vehicles. Even manufacturers like Mercedes-Benz, like this. Obviously what we're looking at here is a little GLA buried in snow. It's a small subcompact SUV. A lot of people love them. They're built on the CLA platform. The GLA here is the SUV version. Has a wonderful little turbo 2-liter engine, makes over 200 ponies, and you can get in all-wheel drive format. It does come with great headlights and beautiful alloy wheels, new style mirrors, and an interior that's literally gorgeous. The GLA 250 by Mercedes has a 4MATIC, meaning all-wheel drive, and is a fun, frivolous driving experience with a double clutch transmission to make it entertaining. Then we still have what we know as conventional driver's experience right here. Now this isn't the latest and greatest BMW M4, but this certainly is the outgoing model of this vehicle. These are hot rods with the S55 engine tucked under here. The newer version has the S58 engine derived from the B58, the sport tune version. But even this version is wonderful. They're hot rods, not necessarily the most dependable. You get carbon fouling issues potentially with some of that, but these are much better than some of their non-M versions. These cars are beautiful. Your typical angel eye headlights, gorgeous wheels, deep dish. Of course, you have the little badging on there you can see on the fenders, one-touch access in, and a set of beautiful flares on the back. These cars stand out like a thing of beauty. LED taillights, and as you look down here, you have a set of quad tailpipes. Gorgeous car. And have you ever heard of one of these M4s, specifically the competition, the way the exhaust sound barks? You'll never replicate that with an electric vehicle. Right there is one of the hottest vehicles you can actually get right now, and one of my personal favorites recommended for 2024. This one's an Audi Quattro, it says, is an Audi RS3, as you see there. That's essentially their compact sport sedan. All the RS badging, including the big red calipers, rocker panels that are very exciting, and they jut out to make the car look really hot. Of course, you do have LED taillights, and again, you have these massive exhaust tips that you can literally put your fist in there. You do get carbon fiber wings on the back. Now these have around 400 pony, turbo 2.5-liter engine, dual clutch gearbox. Absolutely stunning, amazing to drive, fun and frivolous. Cars like the Audi S5, absolutely gorgeous with the blacked out decal, beautiful upgraded wheels, BBS style, more logos on the side to tell you that this is a real deal. Of course, you look at that aggressive stance, another vehicle that's a little more old school and more muscle. We're looking at a Snake. What do you think this is? Clearly, it's a very muscular car. Standard mirrors. We're talking about a Shelby. That's right. GT500. This is an absolute keeper. You don't get this kind of horsepower, torque, rumble in the pants unless you buy yourself a car like this, the Shelby GT500. The newer GT500 is quite different, comes with a dual clutch, and a GT350 still allows the flat plane crank, high revving, naturally aspirated engine, made it up to a manual gearbox. And as you can see, things are extremely cold out right now. That's right, we're talking about minus 25 degrees Celsius, but we actually saw minus 40 degrees here this last week. And as a result, a lot of electric vehicles needed twice, 3 times the time to actually charge their batteries because it was too busy trying to keep the actual batteries themselves warm. And so a lot of electric vehicles were stalled out. Unless you parked them in the garage, a lot of people struggled in this last cold snap where most internal combustion vehicles were able to start. Yes, there was a lot of failures there too. Older vehicles, if you didn't plug them in, if they weren't prepped, they would fail too. But honestly, there are some real challenges with the electric market. We also can't forget some of the plug-in networks aren't quite there, and so clearly we're still in a place where a lot of people just prefer to go old school. These brands with the Jeep Grand Cherokee, BMW, Volvo, they've got lots of hybrid with gas, turbo, supercharged, as well as electric. Toyota are definitely experimenting with both electric and gas, in other words, hybrids only, and they've even said they're not going pure EV. And BMW, we have the beautiful X7 right here, is outselling the i7 because pure EV is just not caught on that particular marketplace. And even BMW said, you know what, we're going to take a second look at this because we don't want to forget about our core customer group who's actually internal combustion engine lovers. They have tried things with cars like this vehicle right here, the X3. We're talking about a 30e, where in some cases they do have hybrid versions connected up to the 6-cylinder or the 4-cylinder engines. And then you look at Lexus. You don't have to buy a hybrid. You can in fact get a turbo 4-cylinder engine in the latest generation, or the older versions had a naturally aspirated drivetrain in these beautiful Lexus vehicles. Yes, they have great touches, details, but you can see the family resemblance to Toyota. Now the JLR group's a different story. Land Rover and Jaguar, not so much in the Evoque. The Jaguar, part of that family, has clearly said we're done with internal combustion engines, and they're going all in with electrification come 2025. That's why you can no longer get yourself those beautiful Jaguar F-Type Rs. But this is where even the Land Rover group is going. And then we look over here at pickup trucks. This is where the internal combustion engine rules. People want a vehicle that they can trust. They can do the heavy work. They can tow the heavy weights and take it a long distance. A lot of these vehicles still are turbo 6s in the Fords. These GMs are running 5.3s or 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8s. And honestly, with car companies like Rivian, Tesla, and the Ford Lightning, which is scaled back because people aren't buying them, it's proof that people who want to do real truck work are still going with a conventional internal combustion engine, V8s or turbo 6s. Nissan's also got a small contribution to the electric market. They tried the Leaf. That didn't pan out so well. And as well, Ford is also providing internal combustion engines. And then we have right next to it, we have a Tesla Model 3, which clearly is buried in the snow. And the problem is, if you leave this vehicle too long unattended and not tethered up, you're going to have a vehicle that eats itself from the inside out, essentially because the battery power itself is used to heat the batteries so they don't actually lose charge. But in doing so, it's the law of diminishing returns, and eventually that vehicle goes to zero charge. And even brands like Mercedes-Benz and one of their glorified AMG cars, the C63S, was recently scorned by the diehard enthusiasts who said they were giving up on the brand because they came from a twin-turbo V8 engine, huge performance, great sound, and then all of a sudden Mercedes AMG comes up with a turbo 4-cylinder boosted with electrification and lost all of its heart and soul. Sure, it met the criteria for emissions, but all the diehards said, enough, I'm out. See you later, Mercedes. And then the Porsche enthusiasts are some of the most diehard car owners that you'll find anywhere. And when you're talking about the Porsche 911, they wouldn't even dare go outside of the flat six genre. They would truly be shooting themselves in the proverbial foot if they actually decided to go and put an electric drive and batteries in there and skip all over on the flat six. This is what that car is. That's the heart and soul, the bread and the butter for Porsche. You get rid of the 911 and the heart and soul, you've pretty much lost probably the vast majority of your client base, and then you've literally committed corporate slam down. So basically, gotta say, I'm the biggest advocate for actual choice. Some people like electric vehicles. They feel that they're saving some money when they plug in and charge. They feel like they might be helping the environment. We all know the facts there. We'll debate that another day. They maybe even like the way they drive or the fact that they're whisper quiet. But the fact remains is not everybody wants to be forced into an electric vehicle, and there's still a lot of people that just want to drive an internal combustion engine. And all I'm here to do is advocate for the fact that we still have some choice. There's still only the market consumed by about 10% EVs, and there's still a lot of opportunities to get our hands on some amazing SUVs, cars, trucks that are all internal combustion powered. It doesn't mean right now we have to jump on board and become an early adopter. If you want to be, great, knock yourself out. But if you want to get yourself a great internal combustion engine vehicle, this might be a great opportunity to get the last of that breed. That opportunity to get yourself a wonderful vehicle that sounds great, has that rumble, and maybe just lights your fire. Not everybody wants fire lighting. Okay, great. Maybe you just want an SUV that is just standard capacity, you know, a 2-liter or 3-liter V6 maybe, that you can just drive around in, that you don't worry about the extra complexity. Some people like the idea of possibly having even a fighting chance on maintaining their own equipment. So while we're at it, there's still some great options out there, amazing vehicles in all spaces, but you might be limited on time. And with all of that said, be sure to check out right there some of the worst vehicles in 2024. You're definitely going to want to avoid them like the plague. Hope that helps you out.